The Constitution class is one of the most iconic ships in science fiction. Among the most powerful and capable vessels of its day, the class acted as the sharpened point for Starfleet formations during a period of intense tensions with the Federation's neighbors, acting as the linchpin for efforts to explore and settle new worlds and, when necessary, defend Federation citizens. However, the Constitution was an expensive, highly valuable class, produced in only limited numbers. The ships could not be everywhere at once, responding to every emergency, every crisis, supporting every colony, and patrolling every sector in the Federation. As a result, Starfleet would rely very heavily on a multitude of lesser ship classes to carry out the day-to-day business of maintaining the smooth operation of the Federation. Among these classes, in my opinion, the Lochnar class acts as the perfect complement to the Constitution class, being ideally suited to performing all of the missions and roles that the Constitution is too valuable to perform. Lochnar is a frigate type of vessel, a ship which is equipped primarily to deal with lesser threats such as commerce raiders, pirates, smugglers, and scout ships. They are not at all intended to deal with mainline cruisers or participate in pitched fleet battles as part of a larger force. Instead, frigates were intended to work largely within the Federation's borders, supporting colonies, enforcing local law, and patrolling the borders. This is not to say that the ship is poorly armed. With multiple phaser banks and torpedo tubes, the ship is more than capable of standing up for itself. However, compared to cruisers, the Lochnar is not built to handle prolonged combat, or even engage in fights with larger vessels than itself. Given Lochnar's strengths, it should be fairly obvious why the ship worked so well with the Constitution class, filling the missions which the Connie was ill-suited for. Being built primarily for service within the Federation's borders, Lochnar-class ships were free, or did free, larger numbers of Constitution-class ships to serve in missions such as explorers, diplomacy, representing the Federation, and in military matters, squaring up against the warships of other powers which militarily opposed the Federation. At the same time, the ship's small size, low crew count, long range, and low material cost meant that many members of the class could be produced with minimal impact on resource allocation, costing about the same as a destroyer of the Saladin class, but offering a greater variety of capabilities aside from the particularly single-purpose design of the destroyer, which was designed almost exclusively for work within a fleet or task force, where they would act as scouts and torpedo attack ships, punching holes in enemy defenses and threatening larger ships. And while the smaller scout ships of the Archer, Ranger, or roughly comparable Hermes classes were significantly cheaper than the Lochnar, these small, fast, and lightly built ships were ideally suited to fast patrol, message and personnel couriers, and trailblazing, but were singularly ill-suited to performing any missions which didn't involve going as fast as possible, because scout ships are basically the Sonic the Hedgehog of Starfleet ships. With this in mind, Lochnar would perform low-threat but constant missions effectively, and with minimal investment from Starfleet, freeing up the smaller number of larger cruisers for the more high-stakes missions these highly valuable ships were designed for. Lochnar fitting in very well to the puzzle of the 23rd century Starfleet and its various ship classes and mission profiles. In my mind, Lochnar is the ideal complement to the Constitution, being able to perform missions close to home, which allows the Constitution in turn to go out and explore new worlds, speak to new life forms, and defend Federation interests along the frontier. Lochnar keeping the Federation safe at home while Connie does its thing out in deep space. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, this is sort of a shorter video than I normally do, and I've been doing quite a few shorter videos recently just because that's how that's worked out. But hopefully you like it. Let me know what you think. Oh, I've just dropped a PS5 controller. Let me know what you think of the Lochnar class. Love it or hate it. I personally think it's one of the coolest 23rd century ships, and I just wanted to make a sort of quick video on it. There is a review coming later down the line, but for the moment, this is as good as it's gonna get, and it's sort of a quick background for the ship, I suppose. But yeah, I just think it works super, super well with the Constitution. Pairs really, really well. And yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video about that. But yeah, let me know what the ideal stablemate for each Enterprise, each mainline Starfleet cruiser in the period is. For example, I would argue that the Galaxy class is complemented really well by something like the Intrepid. Because at the high end, you have things like New Orleans and Nebula that are really just kind of too big. I mean, like, they are smaller and cheaper, but, like, it's very similar capability. So do you really want to send a Nebula class to scout ahead of a fleet? Because that's a lot of capability that you're losing. Or would you rather have the smaller, faster, less valuable Intrepid? So, I think that works really well. I think something like the Sabre works really well paired with the Sovereign, maybe the Norway with it too. And then, of course, obviously, the Miranda is the perfect complement to the Constitution too, and I'm sure that you could go on. But let me know what you think about that. As always, if you like the video, be sure to give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you want to. If you're already subscribed, then hey, ignore that last bit. Like it, like the video. I mean, you can only like it once. If you double click, then you like it and unlike it, and that's just bad. But yeah, and also all of the artwork for this video and all the other videos that I do is available freely to everybody on the channel's Patreon, which is linked below. So you can follow that link and you can go and get all the arts. If that's something that you are interested in. It's not, you don't have to join the Patreon or anything like that. They're just available for the taking. So if that is something that you want, there they are. But yeah, with that, I think I've gone on long enough. So yeah, enjoy.